was a time I'd grown so tired of life, and what a shame if I threw it all away. And I said life ain't hard until you get knocked out, but it don't care no matter what you say. Oh, there was a time I'd grown so tired of life, and what a shame if I threw it all away. Said life ain't hard until you get knocked.
Hello and welcome back to my channel, How to Quit Xanax in 92 Days. This video is all about step 3, day 31 to 45. Okay, so for the last 15 days, we've been on step 2, okay, step 2. Now action step 4 was to get 5 milligram Valium by day 30, okay, and it's day 31. Okay, so I need to say, we're gonna be moving forward with the program with step 3, okay, but that is all under the assumption that you have gotten 5 milligram Valium. Remember how important it is that we start replacing the Xanax with the Valium, okay? So if you don't have it, don't panic or anything. I need you just to go ahead and make sure that you get it, okay? So just go into a holding pattern right now. Don't change anything. Just stay right where you are, okay, with the Xanax, and get yourself the 5 milligram Valium before you move on with the program. Okay, just like the last 2 steps, we're gonna need a piece of paper and a pen, okay? Pause the video and come right back. All right, so you have your paper and you have your pen and you have your 5 milligram Valium. Okay, so let's move on with the program here. Okay, so at the top of the page, okay, we're going to write step 2 dose. Okay, so on your paper, your step 2 dose, remember in step 2, we took your step 1 dose, okay, which for me was for 1 milligram of Xanax, okay? And in step 2, for days 16 to 30, we cut that in half, okay? So my dose is going to be 0.5 milligrams. That's what it was in step 2, okay? So we're gonna put that same number at the top of this page, okay? We're gonna put the step 2 dose that you were using at the top of the page. All right, so the amount that you've been using, okay, the amount that you've been using for step 2, okay, for the last 15 days, we're gonna write that number at the top of the page, and then underneath that, we're gonna write in your dose times. Okay, so we have dose times written here, okay? And just like the previous step, okay, now we're gonna write the dose times we've been using for the last 15 days and the dosages, okay, that we had for our last step. We're just gonna write that. We're just gonna write that at the top right here. Okay, so for our page, at the top of the page, we have our dosage that we've been using for all of step 2, okay, for the last 15 days. From day 16 to 30, we have our dose that you've been using at the top. For me, it was 0.5 milligrams, okay, or a quarter of a bar of Xanax, okay? Underneath that, I have dose times, okay? And I was using 0.25 milligrams at 7 a.m. and 0.25 milligrams at 3 p.m., okay? And you're going to write in what you've been using for the last, okay, from days 16 to 30, okay? Up here, okay, and then you're gonna write in your dose times and the amount that you've been using for all of step 2. Okay, and then just like the other pages, we're gonna put our line right underneath all of this stuff here, okay? I'm gonna do this one with you. We'll do a line underneath everything, just like that. Okay, underneath our line, okay, we're gonna write step 3, day 31. Okay, we have step 3, day 31, right underneath our line here. Underneath that, we're gonna write action steps. Okay, for step 3, day 31 to 45, there are going to be 3 action steps, okay? So go ahead and make a 1, 2, 3 down your page. So our action step 1 for step 3, day 31 to 45, okay, is going to be replace Xanax with Valium. Okay, and the way I'm gonna write that is I'm just gonna write replace X with V, okay? We're replacing the Xanax with 5 milligram Valium, okay? So what I want you to do, okay, that's what you should already have the 5 milligram Valium, okay? And that's obviously what you need to move forward with the program, okay? So what we're gonna do for the first action step is we're gonna convert your dose, the dose you've been using, in Xanax. We're gonna convert the dose you've been using in Xanax to Valium. So for our action step 1, obviously we're replacing the Xanax with the Valium, but let's go ahead and figure out how much Valium we need to replace your Xanax with, okay? So you're gonna take your total amount, okay? Your total amount in milligrams, obviously, that we've been using for your Xanax, okay? Your total amount here, for me, up to now, I've been using 0.5 milligrams of Xanax. And remember, and that's a quarter of a 2 milligram bar. Okay, so remember that 0.5 milligrams of Xanax is 10 milligrams of Valium. So that's two entire 5 milligram tablets of Valium. Okay, so I'm just going to make a conversion of Xanax to Valium. Okay, and I'm going to put that number here. And this is just going to be our total. That's just going to be our daily total. But we're going to do it in Valium. We're going to be done with the Xanax. Okay, so for me, and you're going to do the same thing for yourself. Okay, you're going to make your own conversion. Okay, and so for me, it's 0.5 milligrams is what I've been using. I'm just going to convert that to milligrams of Valium. Okay, so I'm going to write that in. That's going to be 0.5 milligrams of Xanax is 10 milligrams of Valium. Okay, I'm going to write that in as 10 milligrams of V, or Valium. Okay, so I'm going to write 10 milligrams V. You're going to write your number in Valium. Okay, you're going to convert from Xanax to Valium, and you're going to write that number right there. Okay, and for this step of the program, the big step was converting and starting to use the Valium instead of the Xanax. So for this next step, okay, we're not going to be cutting the benzodiazepine. We're just going to replace it. We're just going to replace the Xanax and let your body get used to the Valium. Okay, so underneath here, okay, we're replacing Xanax with Valium. We figured out how much Valium you're using, okay, converting from the Xanax, okay? And let's go ahead and underneath that, we still need to write in your dose times, but this time let's write them in Valium. Okay, so for your dose times here in Valium, okay, so if I'm using 10 milligrams of Valium, which replaces the 0.5 milligrams of Xanax I was using, okay, now I'm replacing it. Now I'm going to replace it with a daily total of 10 milligrams of Valium, and you're going to replace it with your daily total conversion of Valium to whatever Xanax that you've been using, okay? So underneath here for my dose times, as you noticed, my dose times were 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. You're going to write in whatever your dose times have been as you've been doing, okay? But let's go ahead and convert those to Valium, okay? So I have a total of 10 milligrams of Valium a day that I can take. That's my current dose, and that equals what we've been using. So like I said, we're not cutting, we're not dropping anything today. We're just replacing for this part of the program, for this step. Okay, so for me, it would be, I was using 0.25 milligrams of Xanax at 7 a.m. and 0.25 milligrams of Xanax at 3 p.m. Okay, so that's an eighth. This is a quarter. I was using a quarter of a Xanax bar a day. I was using an eighth of a Xanax bar at 7 and an eighth of a bar at 3. Okay, now an eighth of a bar is still, remember, a fourth of a bar is 10 milligrams. And we have 5 milligram Valium. Okay, so that works out really well in this case. An eighth of Xanax is equal to 5 milligrams of Valium. Okay, so underneath right here, I'm going to write 5 milligrams V and 5 milligrams V. So I'm going to take 5 milligrams of Valium at 7 a.m. and 5 milligrams of Valium at 3 p.m. Okay, so that's how I wrote that in there. Okay, so I've replaced the action step one. Remember, action step one is going to be replacing the Xanax with 5 milligram Valium. Okay, so we're finding out how much Valium we're converting to from Xanax. Okay, and then I wrote in how much I'm going to be using per day for this entire next step. Okay, from day 31 to day 45, I'm going to be taking 5 milligrams of Valium at 7 a.m. and 5 milligrams at 3 p.m. Okay, and then we still have action steps 2 and 3, and those are remaining the same. So go ahead and put a 2 and a 3 down your page right now. 2 and a 3, and those stay the same. Very, very important. Okay, number 2, action step number 2 for day 31 to 45 is you are still going to continue to have fun. You are going to plan to do something fun every single day. And then action step 3 is you're going to continue to exercise every single day of the program. Okay, action steps. Okay, for step 3 of the program, day 31 to 45. Action step 1, okay, we're replacing the Xanax with 5 milligram Valium, okay? You're going to be taking the replacement of whatever you've been using in Xanax, and you're going to replace it with the same amount in 5 milligram Valium, okay? That's action step 1, okay? Action step 2, you're going to continue to have fun every single day of the program, and action step 3, you're going to continue to exercise every single day of the program. I'll see you on day 46.